Speaking about bald, I was speaking with my mother a while back now. This was maybe like a year ago. And I said to her, I said, I'm so confused, mother. Like, why did I get bald? None of my brothers are bald. They got thick. Oh, no, one of my brothers is bald. But to be fair, we do think that he has a different dad. I'll tell you that story in a second. He looks completely different. Yeah, the other two are not bald. And I asked my mother, I was like, just casually, like, why do I have to get bald? You know what she answered? This is the biggest cope answer I've ever heard. She said to me, "Oh, Iskall, are you worried about this?" I was like, "No, but obviously, it would have been nicer with hair. I was a hair enjoyer. I quite enjoyed having hair." She's like, "Yeah, but it's as you get older and stuff, some people get bald." And I was like, "Yeah." You know what she said? She said, and this is a quote. She said, "Bald is the new in." You know how you say, like, when you grow older, you hear your parents say, like, oh yeah, 40 is the new 30 and all of these things. You know what I'm talking about here, chat? You've heard this expression people have said in the past? Oh yeah, no, I'm 40. Oh, but 40 is the new 30. Oh, I'm 70. 70 is the new 50 or whatever. Yeah, she tried to say the same about being bald. And I just bursted out laughing, so she did good. She made me laugh about it. But in regards to my brother, we think that he might be from another father. The thing is, he looks very different from all of us. And when we were younger, we were four brothers. We were sitting in the kitchen, I remember, and we were doing like, I think mother had been like angry with us, like she was having a glass of wine or something in the kitchen. She was cooking. Oh no, she requested us all to sit by the kitchen table while she was cooking. You know, mothers, they'll do this from time to time. You know what I'm talking about, teenagers. For no reason. Like, you're sitting there, you're playing your video games, you're having fun, and mother is like, I would like you to be out here while I cook today. Do you know what I mean? And so anyway, so we were sitting out and we were having, we were basically waiting for her to cook dinner, and we decided, me and my brothers, that's a nice find. We decided that we're gonna draw a family tree. I think I've told this story, maybe, but here goes. Yeah, we were gonna draw a family tree. And so we drew like Iskall and like brother 1, brother 2, brother 3. You know how you do like a family tree, you do circles. And then we drew my mother and we drew my dad above. And then we started drawing lines. And then my mother comes over with her wine glass in her hand. And she looks at this. And she looks at it for a while. And then she grabs the pen out of my younger brother's hand. And she goes to brother number 3. And she crosses out the line from the father, from the dad to him. She adds a new line called MM. And a circle around it. And then she draws a line from MM to brother number 3. And all of us are like shocked. It's like, what do you mean? What is MM, mother? And she goes, Mr. Mailman. And since then, we have approached her with this. We've said, like, what did this mean, mother? We remember. Like, is he our half-brother? Like, what's going on? And she she declines that this ever happened. You know? She's like, this has never happened. You've made it up. This never happened. She has no recollection of this. But we are 4 brothers. We are 4 brothers and all of us remembers. And it's not like we've had, discussions in between us. No, all of us remembers. We all remember this moment. So I don't think so, Mr. Mother. I'm pretty sure, okay, you know this word? Pretty sure that this occurred and that you wrote Mr. Mailman and drew a line from your son to him instead of from father. In which case, she might just have the ultimate gaslight. Sounds like a troll. Yeah, I mean, maybe. The sad thing is that, like, this brother number 3, he's like the best brother. You know how you have a best brother. You have a brother... I mean, I love all my brothers equally. But you do have favorites, right? This is just how it works. You do have favorites. Are you the oldest? Yes. Yes, I'm the oldest. And so, anyway, I mean, this is a mystery for us. But in no way was that... Like, did that not happen? That happened. And she is refusing it. She is just kidding, though. Yeah, maybe it was a troll, you know, but you guys know me. I'm an enjoyer, and I think you guys are too. I'm an enjoyer of trolling. I'm an enjoyer of gaslighting for comedy. Of course, I don't enjoy lying. I don't think lying is good. I think that gaslighting for fun is different, though, with your friends. And I'm an enjoyer of trolling, right? But I don't know, man. Do you gaslight your 9-year-old son, which brother 3 was at that time, in front of his older brothers and one younger brother? I don't know, man. That it's... She's just kidding. It's an undercover Mumskull 85 in chat. Yeah. No, my mother doesn't watch my streams. She thinks that what I do, I've said this before, but she thinks that playing Minecraft for a job is not a real job. Like, she's very disappointed with me. She's very disappointed with my life choices. Like, I had a very good job. I had a very academically good job before I quit and did this. And she will never forgive me. And some things in life you just have to, like, accept. I think it's an important thing. It's like... my brother has to accept that there is a possibility, okay? There's a possibility, and he has to accept that he will never be able to get proof. But there's a possibility that he is not actually a full brother. Mr. Mailman. Which would be equivalent to, like, the milkman in the US, I guess. Define job. Well, career, whatever. She thinks that this is silly and that I'm being, you know, a naughty teenager. 38-year-old, bald, fat, naughty teenager. There it is. That's what she thinks. Which, to be fair, I mean, I feel like that. I don't feel like I'm 30. I see friends. I see people I grew up with. This is so weird. And those of you who are like 20, you're not going to be able to relate to this yet. But trust me, one day you will. I don't remember much, like remember is the wrong to say, but I don't understand how I got so old so quickly. Like, it's gone very quick, and the reason it feels like that is because not much have changed since I was 20. You know? And I think that all people feel like this. And I think that I've heard it as I grew up, like, oh, time goes so quick, but I feel like 17 still. Yeah, I mean, you really do. I don't know, I have some friends that are like, oh, well, you know... got pain and stuff when I wake up in the morning. But I had that when I was 17. Some nights. Nothing has really changed. Too real, please stop. Yeah, but it's... I don't think it should matter too much. I have my cope friend when it comes to getting old. I have one of my friends who's... you all know him, Uncle Lau. He's very good to talk to if you ever feel like a bit depressed because you're getting old. He's my age, right? And next year we're gonna turn 40, and I'm very scared about this. Like, turning 40 years old, bros. I remember when my dad turned 40. I remember that, and I thought, wow, he's soon gonna be dead. That's what I thought. You know, you've lived half your life, more than half your life, probably. I remember thinking that. And some of you probably think that about me now. But yeah, next year, it's true. Next year, I'm going to turn 40. It's crazy to think. But anyway, I have a friend who's very... Yeah, Uncle Lau. He's very good to... he's very good to cope with. Because he's always like... The only thing that has changed since we were 20, Iskall, is the fact that we have more choices and more money now. That's how he looks at life. And I love it. I think it's great. He is kind of right. I think many people may romanticize being 20. But if I think back of being 20, okay, here would be my day. I would wake up at around 9. 10. I worked shifts back then while studying remote. And I worked, my work hours was 1 p.m. till 10 p.m. plus overtime. And I had overtime almost every single day. My job was to take phone calls from really dumb people having their modems being crashed by thunder. Kind of like I'm gonna have in a few moments when this thunder comes. And they would call and they would complain and they would say that I'm stupid and that I'm, you know, and they wouldn't respect me because I was too young, you know. And I even remember thinking that, oh, I wish I was older. And then I remember getting paid like something like, I don't know. Of course, inflation and stuff changes things. So you have to think about that. This was like 2003, right? 2005. But I would get paid somewhere around $900 a month for that job. 5 days a week. And then my rent, I remember, was $400. And the broadband was $100. And yeah. And that was, I remember constantly being very stressed out about paying my bills. I remember that. I remember having a very stupid boss. Like, if I think back about it, I played video games. I played Epic Battle and Lineage in 2005, probably. It was before Minecraft came out. But you only had, like, the weekends, really. And yeah, like, life was definitely not as pog as it is now. Oh yeah, I also couldn't afford a car. Oh yeah, I remember this. I had to call my friend Tommy if I wanted to go somewhere. And I had to, like, convince him or pay him to drive me somewhere. And I didn't have any money. Now, to be fair, at the end of the day, you do get closer to dying every day. But there's no way to tell. When you're 20, you might also just die from a car accident. Like, your time limit for your life quest is definitely being, is definitely running out. But there are so many, like, you know, mobs in the way and quests in the way that may stop you anyway, that it's kind of weird to think about that, you know, hard time limit. I'm 36, I'm very broke. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm a wealthy person. But these days, I do earn more than $900 a month, but at the same time, my rent is higher. I do have a car, and I don't worry about bills every day. Although that being said, this month, because of my family vacation and stuff that I did, this month I have zero money in my account. Zero money in my accounts. But it's gonna be good because I'm gonna empty my freezer. You know, I'm gonna eat the stuff that I once bought. Went into the shop and be like, oh, peas, sweet corn, and rice in a frozen bag. That sounds like a great meal. Perfect. I'll buy that. And then it's been in the freezer for 3 years. That's probably gonna get eaten, so it's a good thing. Broke skull? Yeah. But there are different ways of being broke in life. I don't think that... I think that... I do think that money is definitely... Like, people say money can't buy you happiness. Money can definitely buy you happiness in a way. Like, okay, there are things that you can do when you have money that will make you happy. It's not a default. Nothing in life is a default, though. Like, let me give you an example. You can, if you're born with rich parents, you have a better opportunity in life than if you're born in a poor family. I'd say that my growing up was pretty average, probably. Like, we didn't have a lot of money. But they can also go the other way. Like, it can also be bad for you. People who don't have money will always blame their failures and their sadness on the fact that they don't have money. It's like this. People that don't have money value money higher than people that have money. I mean, that's pretty logical, probably. It's probably stupid of me to even point that out. But that creates an evil circle. So if you're broke and you blame failing certain things at not having money, you're in a loop. You're in a cope loop, I think. Yeah, I think so. I think that you have to... Like, I've been broke so many times. I was broke all the way up until I was 30. All the time. And by broke, I mean like running out of money at the month, living paycheck to paycheck. I think that's normal. I don't think that that's unreasonable. And I know. I had friends, I had friends who were much better off for whatever reason. They managed to save every month. They're like, oh, you saved $100 this month. And I was like, what? How? How were you able to save $100? And why can't I save? Why am I such a useless person? That's what I felt. That's what I felt. And if you feel like that, don't. I think that, there are a lot of things you don't know growing up. Like maybe that person got the rent paid. I actually found out that one of my friends that were always so good with money, we called this guy in my job. Like we were a bunch of guys. We were like 20 guys working together in this shift job at the call center. And we had this one guy called Jimmy. We called him Finance Jimmy. He was like 1 year older than me. And most people were my age. We thought that he was a wise man. He was 1 year older and he always had money over. And then I found out, and not because he was hiding it, because we never asked, but we asked him for financial advice and he seemed to know everything about like saving accounts and all of this stuff. And one time I asked him, I said like, how we have the same apartments, because we all lived in like similar apartments, right? So we had the same rent. So I said to him, I asked him straight out, I said like, with the rent being what it is, and then I remember there was a point where they were going to raise the rent, and there was a good like big drama in our group about this because everyone was struggling. So we asked Finance Jimmy, like, how do you manage? And this was like 2 years in, so maybe I was 22 at this time. And he said, well, I don't have to worry about rent because my dad pays my rent. Perception, am I right? Like, this entire time, we were so jealous and so confused and so like impressed by Finance Jimmy. And this, I'm not making this up, by the way. He was actually called Financial Jimmy. And yeah, it turns out that his dad has been paying his rent this entire time. And so, of course, he could put $100 away every month. Because he didn't have the $400 rent that the rest of us had. In Sweden, pensionists are, like in many other countries, referring to themselves, and I quote, here we go. Are you ready for this? As poor and old, and the government pays us poor or low, pays us low pension. Right? I'm sure that a lot of people have heard this. But most pensionists fully own, with no mortgage, a house or an apartment that if they sold, they would get 500 times as much money for it as they bought it for. And 100 times as much money as they bought it for, including inflations. So including the fact that, oh, they bought it for $10 and now it sells for $10,000, which would be equivalent of $1,000 back then. And like they live in this house that's probably way too big if they live just, two pensioners or one pensioners, right? Now, is it reasonable to think, and this is why I said I'll cross this bridge when I get there. Is it reasonable to think that you would want to sell your home and your entire base? Like, would you really want to sell your base? You worked on this your entire life. No, maybe not. But I could also see a world where you do want to sell it, where you want to be like, okay, you know what? Now it's time to cash in. And I'm going to take this money and I'm going to spend it before I die. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to, travel. I'm going to go all the places that I wanted to see. I'm going to do all of this now for this money. I'm not going to save it. And then some people may argue, well, then they leave no will to their kids. Yeah, okay, fine. I also know that there are services now that you can, at least in Sweden, it's a pretty smart business idea in my head. You can buy, like there are companies that are buying pensionists' homes for market value minus some money. So the companies are making bank because they are buying it cheaper than market value, so they can sell it for more than they bought it. And then they rent it out to the people that own the house till they die. I would take that deal if I'm a pensionist. I think that's a fantastic business opportunity. It's like everyone wins. Okay, so they get 5% less than market value for their house. But they also get to stay there until they die. They have the rights of living till they die. I'll be honest, like I have no idea what I'm talking about. I've not really thought a lot about this until now. But like it sounds good. You know, on paper it sounds good, right? But Iskall, why do you want to sell your house when you don't have any debt? In no debt equals more money. Because you want to get the equity out. Because you're getting paid, you know, according to pensionists, right? You're getting paid a terrible pension every year, every month. And you can't live on it. Like, you can't do the things that you want to do. That's why you would sell. That's the only reason you would sell. Yes, you don't have any mortgage cost. But you also don't have any money in the bank. So you would want to sell to free up, to get money in your bank. These are good discussions, though. Like, it's good to think about these things. Because I know myself when I was 20, I hated thinking about money. I still hate thinking about money. I really do. I think that it's really stressful or annoying to think about money. Here's another funny thing. When you're 15, 20 feels so far away. And it should, because life, like when you go to school, life moves slower than it ever will later. And so that's good. I loved being 15. I absolutely love being 15. Just before you have all the, like probably the best age is like 16, 17, right? Because now you're kind of an adult, but you also can make children mistakes. You're allowed to by society to be stupid. No one is ever going to call you, specifically in this day and age, I can imagine. I mean, I wasn't 17 in this day and age, but I can imagine that it's even easier now because there's so many snowflakey ideals and weird non-responsibility in the world in general. But even when I was 17, there was like, you know, you were allowed to be an idiot. You could do bad stuff and or stupid decisions. Even though you probably knew that they were stupid, but people were like, he's 17, leave him alone, you know? So probably the gold age, the best age to be in our society is 17, right before you have to start taking responsibility over things. And while the world is still moving very slowly, everything is still big. But then again, maybe not though. Let me think about this. Would I ever be able to, like genuinely, would I actually be able to go back to being 17? Probably not. Like maybe you romanticize it. Maybe I romanticize it in my head. But man, not being able to choose what I eat for dinner. Having to listen to my mother and do as she says. Yeah, maybe it's not the greatest. Maybe the greatest time is now. I mean, for me, sitting here playing Minecraft with you guys and hanging out and talking about my stupid stories, I am so damn lucky to have you guys. And I appreciate the hell out of all of you and being part of all of this. So thank you. My best time is now.